Hi YouTube, today we are making Amish white bread. Our ingredients are 2 cups of warm water, 2/3 cup of white sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of active dry yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 6 cups of bread flour. And we're going to get started by pouring our warm water into our big bowl. Then we're going to add our sugar, and we're going to dissolve that. Can you get me a spoon? Then we're going to add in our yeast, and I buy my yeast in bulk and just store it in the refrigerator. Okay, we're going to stir this up until it's dissolved, and then we're going to let it sit and proof until it's foamy. And we'll be back in just a few minutes when it's foamy. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that, but the yeast is foamy. So we are going to add our salt and our oil into this. I'm going to use a wooden spoon. And then we are going to start adding in our flour a little at a time and stirring. And I sometimes use my stand mixer for this, but I'm doing it by hand today to show everybody just how easy it is to mix and to make bread from scratch by hand. Okay, let's get this mixed in. And we're just going to keep mixing until we get all the flour incorporated. Okay, what we're wanting is for it to start pulling away from the sides of the pan, the bowl, and then we are going to turn it out onto a lightly floured surface. I've got extra flour in case I need it, but I shouldn't because I still have this much of the original 6 cups. But we're going to sprinkle some flour out. And we're going to turn this out onto a floured surface. It's still going to be a little sticky, but it's much easier to knead in the last little bit of flour. We're going to make sure and flour our hands really well so that it doesn't stick to our hands. And we're going to need to knead this for about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. We want it to be a nice, smooth, elastic dough. And to knead it, you're just going to pull it over and then press it out. And just continue doing this until you make sure that you flour the bottom and the top as you need to. But you're just going to keep doing this until you get a smooth, elastic dough. And we'll be back in a minute to show you that. Okay, that about does it. See how it springs back? It's very elastic. So then we're going to form it into a ball, and I'm going to use the bowl that I mixed it in, put a little bit of oil in it, Just spread this oil around so that the dough doesn't stick to the bowl. And it doesn't matter if there's little pieces of dough still in there, it's not going to hurt it. Okay, we are going to turn it upside down and drop it in. Then we're going to pick it up, flip it over, and drop it in again. Okay, and you don't have to drop it, but that's just so you have the whole dough is oiled. Then we are going to cover it with a damp towel, and we're going to let it sit until it is double in size. That may take 30 minutes if your house is warm, or it could take 2 hours if your house is cooler. But you want the dough ball to be twice the size that it was. So we'll be back when that happens. Okay, our bread has doubled in size. So we are going to turn it, we're going to punch it down, and we're going to turn it back out onto a floured surface. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of flour. You see how easy it came out with the oil? Came out really easily. Sorry about the kids, but that's life. Okay, we're going to get it deflated really well. We're not going to knead it a whole lot. But we are going to split it in half. Okay. Then we are going to put it into loaf pans. We're going to roll it up. Let's see if we can't get this. Roll it up into logs. Turn the ends down under. We're just kind of pinching it on the bottom to try to get it to stick together. With the oil and all the flour, sometimes it's hard to get it to stick. But just do the best you can. And once we get it looking something like that, we're just going to take our loaf pan and drop it in. Okay, let's do the other one. And now we are going to once again let this sit. We're going to leave it sit uncovered for 30 minutes or until it gets to be about an inch over the top of the pan. And then we'll be baking it at 350. We'll be back when we're ready to put it in the oven. Okay, since the kids were bad, I had to stop the video real quick, but I put the dough in a greased bread pan, and what I do is I turn my oven on to preheat and set the bread pans on top of the oven, and that way the warmth from the oven radiates through the bread pan, causing the bread to rise. So it usually takes about 30 minutes, and my bread dough is risen to an inch over the top of the bread pans, and then the oven's already preheated, so then I can just pop them in the oven. So we'll be back in a few minutes when they're ready to do that. Okay, the bread, as you can see, is about an inch over the pan. So it is time to put it in our preheated oven. So we are going to slide both of these in. they have to bake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. So we'll see you in 30 minutes. Set my timer. Okay, we'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, time to take the bread out. Now, I like to set some butter in a little dish on my stove, and while my bread bakes, it melts my butter. So then I have the melted butter that I can brush the tops of my bread with. Which gives it a wonderful buttery flavor. See, it has a wonderful golden brown crust. And that's perfect. The size of the loaf is perfect for making sandwiches. And now we'll just let these cool, and we'll be back when it's time to slice. Okay, I know we're supposed to wait to slice it until it cools, but my family can never wait. So they're all yelling for me to go ahead and slice it so they can have a piece warm with butter on it. But I wanted to show you, even slicing it hot, it still slices beautifully, and it has the best, super moist inside. The crumb is just tender and very small. It is a very good sandwich bread. So I hope that you'll try this, and thanks for watching Jenny's Homestead.